The room fell silent before the echo of her words even faded. "You're the most useless in-law we have." Her voice had a way of cutting through flesh without raising its pitch. My wife's mother. Smiling, smug, as if she had rehearsed it. Forks paused mid-air. Chairs creaked. Every set of eyes turned toward me. Me, the outsider, the convenient scapegoat. I felt their stares burn against my skin. I didn't flinch. I didn't blink. I only looked at her, studied the faint tremor beneath her painted lips, the way her hand lingered just a second too long on the wine glass, as if bracing for fallout she secretly wanted. I stood up, calm, controlled. "If that's the case," I said, my voice even, "then don't call me when you lose your house and your cars in the next 10 minutes." Her face cracked. Not broken yet, but fissured. Everyone froze, lungs tight, waiting for laughter that never came. Because they knew, and I knew, and beneath the stillness, the truth was already ticking, like a clock buried in the walls. The insult wasn't new. I had been the family's target since the day I married their daughter. Too quiet, too reserved, not pliable enough to fit into their theater of vanity. But this time was different, because 3 nights earlier I found the message. It was buried in my wife's phone, in a folder she thought she had hidden well. A photo of her, laughing in someone else's arms. Not just any man. A man whose signature was on documents I'd been reviewing for months. Loan agreements, false transfers, desperate bailouts. Her family's wealth was a hollow shell. Their empire mortgaged, drowning. And she was drowning with them. My wife wasn't just unfaithful, she was strategic. The affair wasn't about love, it was about survival. Aligning herself with someone who could rescue her family when everything collapsed. Except she had underestimated me. She thought I was blind, passive, useless. She didn't know I already had every document, every signed paper, every bank statement spread before me like the pieces of a puzzle I wasn't supposed to solve. The betrayal wasn't just hers. It was all of them. They had smiled in my face while planning their escape, hoping I would remain silent, too docile to ever see the noose tightening around me. But I had been watching, and tonight they would see. I played my part well. At breakfast, I asked nothing. I watched her sip coffee, her fingers tapping the rim, waiting for a message that never came. At night, when she lay beside me, pretending to sleep, I scrolled through the encrypted files I had already backed up. Property deeds, fraudulent sales, transfers hidden under shell companies with her mother's name inked at the bottom. Their entire fortune was already mine to unravel. I met with the bank, quietly, showed them the defaults, the breaches, the unpaid guarantees. Their lawyer's expression shifted from polite to pale within minutes. The countdown began. 10 days. That's all it would take before their accounts froze, their cars repossessed, their homes seized. And I said nothing. I smiled at family dinners. I let her mother mock me for not being ambitious enough. I let her brothers laugh at my quiet demeanor, my restraint. Every insult was another stone added to their coffin, sealed with their own arrogance. Inside, my rage burned like acid. But it was a controlled burn, contained, channeled, waiting for the right moment to eat through everything they had built. Patience was the weapon they never expected me to wield. The morning of the dinner, the email arrived. 1 line, final confirmation. Repossession will begin at 8 p.m. tonight. I folded my phone shut, slipped it into my pocket, and walked downstairs where laughter and perfume filled the air. My wife's mother greeted me with the same rehearsed disdain she had perfected over years. By the time dessert was served, she launched her attack. You're the most useless in-law we have." It was almost too perfect. I stood, my chair scraping against the marble floor, and gave her the line I had prepared in silence for weeks. "Then don't call me when you lose your house and your cars in the next 10 minutes." The color drained from her face before she could hide it. My wife shifted, eyes darting. Her brothers stared at their plates, as if the words themselves had weight that pinned them down. No one spoke. No one breathed. Because they knew I wasn't bluffing, and the clock had just struck. The first call came within minutes. Her phone lit up, buzzing on the table. She didn't answer. Then another. Then a message. Her fork trembled against the porcelain as she read. Her lips parted, but no sound came. Cars towed, locks changed, bank accounts frozen. Her empire dissolved in real time, unraveling like thread from a frayed seam. I remained standing, watching, calm. My wife turned to me, whispering, "What did you do?" I didn't respond. I only tilted my head as if studying a painting I had already seen 1,000 times. Her mother's eyes glistened with panic. For once, the mask slipped. She wasn't regal. She wasn't untouchable. She was small, fragile, afraid. The family that had branded me useless was now choking on the truth I had quietly prepared, piece by piece, until the moment their house of cards collapsed with surgical precision. Not a word from me, not a raised voice, just silence. And silence was louder than any revenge. I walked out before the plates were cleared. No goodbyes, no explanations. Just the sound of my shoes against their polished floor, echoing through a house that no longer belonged to them. Outside, the night was still, cool. For the first time in years, I felt no weight on my chest, no hunger for validation, no need to prove myself to people who thrived on my silence. They wanted me invisible, forgettable, disposable. So I gave them exactly that. I disappeared. And as the door closed behind me, I knew one truth with absolute clarity. They had called me useless, but in the end, it was my silence that destroyed them.